Okay, so hello everybody. And we're going to talk about, are we ready for the next cybersecurity incident like Log4Shell or not? I can tell you, like 99% we are not. But here we're going through a story, a little bit horror one, and I will give you some ideas why I'm saying that we are not prepared. So, as I said, it's a story, and it has some chapters. I want to start this session with asking a question from all of you. Who has ever copied some commands from the internet? Like, come on, everybody, all of us. If you install the brew, for example, on your Mac, you just copy-pasted this command. And I'm talking about this, right? With 500 star, right? So we usually trust these type of things, right? But some of the developers say, I will not run commands blindly on my machine. Okay, and you can see the hackers, they're laughing at you. Right? All of us are doing that. So I want to tell you that you are one command away from gifting access of your machine to a hacker. One command. And you might still say that I'm going to run command blindly. Okay, bear with me. I want to ask a question from the people that are really expert in Linux. Do you know what is this? Can you recognize it? Is it readable? Yes, it's called reverse shell. And what it do, it's pretty simple. So just imagine you're a victim, and there is a hacker. So you as a victim run this command on your machine, and there is a hacker that is waiting for you to run that command. What will happen is your machine will create something like a SSH connection, and gift this SSH connection, the established SSH connection, will forward this connection to a hacker machine. And the hacker is actually waiting on an IP address and port for you to send this command to it. Again, you might say, I will not run this command. It looks a bit, shady. I will not run this command. But again, I'm not going to tell you that you're going to run this command. So I want to show you the scary thing. So we are all Java developer here, right? So I have a Java project, right? So what I did, I just initialized it with the Spring Boot initializer. You will see it's empty. So this is here, there is no class in it, no test, so even the test is empty. Yeah. Huh? Oh, why you cannot see my screen? That's weird. Maybe I need to exit the presentation mode. Can you see it now? Okay, one more time. So this is a project. Sorry for the VS Code. The IntelliJ decided to not working today. I don't know why. I will try to zoom. I'm not sure if it's visible or not. Yes, a little bit. So this is a Java project that I initialized with a Spring initializer. It's empty, completely empty. So just initialize it. The only thing that I did, I just added a dependency to this project, and this is this beautiful JSON. The only thing that I did is just adding this JSON. And I expect that I just added a dependency. What can go wrong, right? This was my expectation. But bear with me. So I have a surprise for you. So I have two terminals. You will see it. So one terminal in the top and one terminal in the bottom. So on the first one, I will try to zoom in a little bit more. So you will see I'm trying to connect to a server. So this is not going to be my machine. It will be the hacker machine. So I will put my hat on because now I'm going to be a hacker. Okay. So I will connect to this SSH machine, with SSH. I will clear it up. And what I will do, I will just listen on port 4242 for the victim to gift me the access. Okay, and I'm the victim. And I'm in the same folder, so I will do the pwd. You will see that I'm in the Log4J Talkmaster Spring Boot victim. And I'm going to just run Maven verify. Or, I don't know, Maven install. I will just run Maven install. What can go wrong? Let's pray for the God of the demo. So it worked 10 minutes ago, so. Oops. For sure, the hacker will not print this for you. I just printed it for myself to show you. But the interesting part is here. Did you see what happened? I'm going to run pwd. Here we go. It was a remote machine. I connected to it. You saw it. It was a server, I don't know, in the Finland. And now I got a terminal access. And guess what? I'm connected to the wireless of this venue. I don't even have a static IP address. So no one can connect to my machine. If I want to allow someone to connect to my machine, I need to do a lot of things on the router and firewalls and the things that are in the access point and the things here, right? I do not have a public IP address. And the hacker have interactive access to my terminal. You don't believe me? OK, I will touch. So I will run ls. You will see it's the folder that I showed you in the VS Code. I will just touch hackme.log. Let's see the VS Code. Here it is, hackme.log. I just run Maven install. OK, welcome to my world. And this is what we call it, supply chain attack. So, so let me go to the next slide. So supply chain attack is something that was been there like millennia, I don't know, 10,000 years ago. But in the IT, it was also not something new. 15 years ago, we also had a Stuxnet, something like that. But recently, after kind of COVID time, it became really trending for the hackers, and it's really interesting. So bear with me. We'll go through the different aspects of this, and I will also show you how to prevent these type of things. But who I am? I'm Soroosh. I'm no longer a hacker, so you can trust me. So I'm Soroosh. I'm a solution architect and software developer at Khodami, and currently working in the Rabobank on this topic. I'm not going to share anything about Rabobank here, but trust me, I'm working with 8,000 engineers in Rabobank, and I know, and I'm also a developer, so I know how developers actually work. So I'll have a good story for you. I'm not a security expert at all. Again, I'm a solution architect and developer, so a lot of security experts help me to learn all those things, and I'm going to share them with you. OK, next part of this story. Let's unmask it. What was it? Huh? I want to ask a question. Can you recognize these things? The classic cyber attacks? I can see people are saying yes. But who has ever tried a path traversal practically? OK, I see only 2 or 3 hands. Or SQL injection, maybe? OK, most of you know what it is, but you haven't tried it. And so my suggestion to you, stop writing code immediately. Just I put some links. There is a Dutch company called Certified Secure. They have a free platform. It's a really good platform. You can just for free do some trainings and practically test SQL injection, path traversal, XSS, and those things. And your life will be in the 2-part. Before doing this practically and after that one, right? It's eye-opener. Stop writing code, please. And you also probably heard about the AI that is also, introducing these classic attacks again by, a lot of wrong things that suggest to you, and we are copy-pasting them, right? Because they work. But they're classic cyber attacks. Somehow we have a lot of mitigations for them. Some of the frameworks, they are kind of help you to not making those mistakes. But as I said, the supply chain attack is something that is getting trending now. This picture is OWASP top 10. So every few years, they will report some statistics that, OK, what are the major attacks and what are the major techniques that hackers actually use to hack your platforms. In 2017, you could see there were some categories. In 2021, there were also some categories. Some of them has been merged. Some new stuff has been appeared on the report. But in a month, I think there will be a new report. And I heard about this from the experts that supply chain attack will be probably in the top 3. So it was not there in these reports from 2017, but it will be in top 3 in 2025 report. So it means it's a really, really, really big risk that we need to be aware of it. But when I'm talking about supply chain risk or supply chain attacks, there are multiple aspects. There are some overlaps. Huh? So I think most of you are familiar with the third-party vulnerabilities. So sometimes we update our dependencies because they have some security issues, right? We are more or less familiar with them. But there are other aspects, like dependency confusion, software supply chain hijacking. What I showed you was compromised build environment. So the build environment was poisoned with a JSON library that was not actually a valid one. I made it up with a really high version. And counterfeit components. Sometimes you think that you're downloading something, but you're downloading something else. And those things are happening every day, and they're making headlines. You see the Log4Shell, right? Also, a few weeks ago, we had this Next.js one, and also Nginx ingress nightmare. I'm quite sure you have seen it on the LinkedIn, or on Twitter, or maybe in your company from your security officers. Do you recognize those things, guys? Every year, there are one or two big ones. So Log4Shell was the biggest one for the Java, and you might say it was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, right? Have you updated the Log4j, guys? Many didn't. Still, 13% of the downloads of the Log4j are vulnerable to Log4Shell. This is an official report from Maven Central. So at least a few people here are still downloading the wrong version. Can you believe it? So this is a huge risk. Dependency confusion is one of the really scary ones. Because how many people have heard about the dependency confusion? I see only 3 or 4 hands. This one is the biggest one. It's the scariest one. And what it is. So most of you are working in the companies. You're having a lot of squads that are working on different things. Maybe you decide that, OK, this logic can be shared with the other teams. And you will build an internal library or a shared library. Is it true? This is a valid case. And what you will do, you will publish that shared library in a repository on the Maven Central or maybe in the private repository of your company, right? And the other squads will just import it in their project. OK, and we're all seniors. We have really good test coverage, 200% test coverage, as a joke that it's very good, it's covering all the test cases. And what we do is we are specifying the version like this. Like, let me put the laser. So the version is a range that, OK, we stick to the major, and whatever is the update, the promise is that based on the server, it's not going to break. And if it's also break, we have good test coverage, so it will break the pipeline. What can go wrong? Huh? I will tell you. So you put 2 repositories in your Maven setting or Gradle setting, and there is and some of your project might also have a repository from a vendor that you have no control on it. A hacker managed to hack the vendor repository, and somehow by, I don't know, decompiling your code or from some inside information or trying to guess something, right? They will upload a package with the same name as your shared library with a really high version, 1.999. And you're already using the range. So the Maven says, OK, let's see what I can find. I can find the highest version. Why not? And it downloads the one that has been uploaded by the hacker. And this is called dependency confusion. I cannot tell you, but a lot of big companies that are in the Netherlands, also a lot of big companies that are in the world, like Facebook, Facebook and now Meta, Twitter, Microsoft, Google, all has been hacked by this trick. And you can read the story in the Read More link. You can share this link with your grandmother, and she will understand. Because it's pretty simple. It's really easy how they use this trick to hack these big companies. And you know already, right? So you run the Maven install, confusion happens, and you're hacked. Yeah. And I already showed you the one. But you might say that, OK, how big is this risk? Well, it's really big. Because you have a project, your awesome project. You are using, for example, 2 libraries, one from one of your internal teams, and one from a vendor. And the vendor is also using some other libraries. And one of these libraries on the bottom is being maintained by someone in, I don't know, an island, in Australia, right? And the guy is maintaining it for free. And you don't know if that person, I don't know, dies or something like that, who is going to take over that library and what the new maintainer can do with that project. Some of them are also open source projects without proper review process, something like that. I don't know why the title is not there, but yes, you just create a Spring Boot hello world via Spring Initializer, and you already have 49 sub-dependencies in your project. So each one of those dependencies can be targeted for dependency confusion or any type of supply chain attack. You following what I'm trying to say? So the risk is really huge. Also, we are in the AI era. Can you spot the difference between these two imports? So if I was not asking you, could you see it in the response of the Copilot or ChatGPT or Cloud or whatever? And very hard. It's very hard. And this is called slop squatting, something like that. Previously, the hackers they were intentionally creating the packages with the same name. For example, Azure CLI without hyphen or with hyphen or 2i at the end or 2l or something like that. And people would make mistake or copy-paste from the Stack Overflow they couldn't recognize. But now the AI is making this mistake for you, and it's very hard to spot those type of things. I'm scaring you, right? But how dangerous it can be? Okay, it's a vulnerability, like a SQL injection. We have, I don't know, some mitigations for it. I want to start with the SQL injection, something that we are familiar with it. A hacker can use a SQL injection to get into your environment, to run some commands on your database. And guess what? Your Postgres server is also using an old version of the database because we are a bit lazy to update the database server because it's working. Why should I update it? And with that vulnerability, you can run commands on the machine. So you write query, but in your query, sometimes you can run some arbitrary commands. OK, and guess what? This Postgres was deployed in a container, and the container image also had some vulnerability. So the hacker could become root on that container, and that container was also deployed on the Kubernetes that is not also really old. I think this version that I mentioned here is like a year old. A year old. And the hacker could become the root on the Kubernetes cluster server. All the firewalls, authentication, all these things that you have for your fancy application doesn't have any meaning anymore. Because the hacker has root access on the whole cluster. All your applications are exposed. And they can still do lateral movements, right? Because when they're there, they will put some backdoors. They will try to think, OK, let's put some traps to see if we can get more information or not. Well, I think I'm doing this talk for a few times, and I'm still scared when I'm sharing this story. But OK, thank you. You scared us to death. We were thinking about it during the night, also tomorrow when we're reviewing the code. But how we can prevent it, how we can mitigate these risks? I have some recommendations. So first of all, sorry, it's not possible to fully protect. It's very hard. But there are some recommendations, some best practices that if you apply to your software development lifecycle, you can minimize the risk. There are three categories: critical, essential, and advanced. I have some links in the read more, but we will go through them one by one. So critical ones are the ones that I think you need to apply them today, tomorrow, or next week. They're low-hanging fruits. Number one, if you are building applications, libraries, whatever, try to sit together with all the developers, create a naming convention. For example, if you're working at Code Nomads, you should create a naming convention like nl.codenomads.something. Not everybody decides that, OK, I want to write code-nomads, code.no. No. Agree on something, and reserve that namespace on the public repositories. So on the Maven, it's OK-ish, because they have a good mechanism for protecting the namespaces. But on the PyPy and NuGet and NPM, it's terrible. So you need to go and create an account and say, OK, this is my organization, this is the prefix, and I want to reserve it for myself. And also enabling two-factor authentication on it. Clear? Second, should we use latest or version range in our POM XML? Never. Do not use latest. Not for your Docker images, not for nothing. Just pin the version, exact. not on the major or minor, no, exact version. Because I've already showed you. For the hackers, it's like, wow, nice, a free shot. They have automation for those things. They will not even spot you specifically. They have automation. They have, for example, systems that they can find those things on the internet. Okay, there are some downloads of the libraries from this repository that we already hacked, and we have access to the logs, right? Third, package integrity check. This one is a bit tricky, but you can take a look at these 4 recommendations. On the Gradle, it's a bit easier. On the Maven, you need to configure a few things. You can get help from AI or search on the internet how to do this. This dependencies log file is something nice that NPM has, but Maven doesn't have. I heard they're going to add it to the Maven version 4. I'm not sure, honestly. But on the Gradle, you can actually, I think, do that. Last but not least, just clean up unused libraries. Why you have a lot of, you added this with IntelliJ, just add, import everything. Why? Just clean up, and it's easy. Just run this command, and it will show you the libraries that you have imported, but you're not using them. So these are the critical ones. Essential ones probably will take a few weeks or a month, but they're also really important. So number 1, if there is no specific reason, don't use random repositories in your project. Just try to use Maven Central. And yeah, if you're using Maven Central, and also another repository, if you have to, for example, you have a vendor and they have, for example, a repository on the, for example, Splunk, they have a repository on the JFrog, jfrog.io. Try to consider using solutions like Nexus Repository or JFrog Artifactory. What they do for you, they will proxy the public repositories for you, and you can put a routing role. So what is this? So you say, when I'm requesting a package from Maven Central, I do not expect to get anything that belongs to my company. And I can use the naming convention there, that if there is a package that there is a code nomads in it or Rabobank in it, I do not expect them to be downloaded from the Maven Central or any other public repositories. So that's a good thing. At least you know that whatever you're downloading is from your private repositories. But some of those solutions are a bit expensive. I did some research. On the Gradle, you can actually specify that I expect to get these pattern of packages from, for example, Maven Central or this private repository, or I do not expect to get these packages from Maven Central. I will show you. The Gradle is really easy, but the Maven one is a bit tricky, so I will show you in the next slide. Second, keep the dependencies up to date. Because I already told you do not use the latest and version range, but you might say, okay, how can I keep them up to date? There is a nice one, renovate and dependabot. You can just configure them in your pipeline, and they will create a pull request for you, automated pull request. You can also configure them that, okay, I want to update the dependencies every week. They will do it in a really nice way. But I just want to know, how many people knows renovate and dependabot? Okay, I think most of you know it, so it's a really good practice. The third one, version immutability. So when you're publishing an artifact, for example, version 1.2.3, you should make sure that no one can overwrite it. So by using Nexus and JFrog Artifactory, you can actually put this rule that no one can delete that library, or delete is okay, but no one can replace this package. And even if you made a mistake, for example, you forgot, I don't know, a space or comment, or I don't know, some logs in the code, just release a new version. You have to release a new changelog, I know, but the risk of allowing someone to overwrite a package is really high. Because if a hacker managed to also overwrite a package that you already, you trusted that one, then here we go. Again, we have that supply chain risk. Last but not least, use dependency scanning tools, which is called SCA, Software Composition Analysis. I will show you. It's really nice. I will show you. It's really nice. First, I promised about the repository filter in the Gradle and Maven. So you can look at the Gradle one. It's really easy. In the place that you're specifying the repository index, you can say, I expect to get my.company from this repository. And I do not expect to get my.company from this repository. That's amazing on the Gradle. On the Maven, it's a really big headache, honestly. I was searching, find a page on the Apache documentation. I read it 2, 3 times. I couldn't understand how it works. I asked one of my colleagues, and she did an amazing job. So she made it working, but still not really a pleasant solution, in my opinion. But it was really nice that she made it working. So if you do not, your company do not want to buy an Nexus repository or Artifactory, you can read this. It's a GitHub repo that she put some examples on it. Just try to take a look at it. It's really good. So you can do the filtering same as the Gradle one, but the configuration is a bit annoying. And I told you about the dependency scanning. So what is the dependency scanning? So you have a project, you have a POM XML. You expect to only have one dependency because you only imported the Spring Boot starter. But I told you, you already have 49 dependencies because they are sub-dependencies of the Spring Boot starter. Huh? There are tools called SCA, or dependency scanner. They will scan your project, and they will list all the dependencies and sub-dependencies and sub-dependencies of all of them in one file, and they will call it SBOM, Software Bill of Material. So it's a really nice file. You can have it in the XML format or in the JSON format. This is a JSON format 1. I love the JSON format. And this is a standard format, so it doesn't really matter what tool you're using. They will generate the same format. And it's a document. And guess what? We can search into it. You can upload it in some systems that I will show you later. And you can do a lot of stuff on it. You can also add a lot of data to it, like metadata, that, OK, there's an application that I'm scanning. It's a critical application. It's an internet-facing application. It's, I don't know, high priority, low priority, who developed it. You can add those information to this data, to this SBOM, and it will really help you later. Also, one more thing that also has you can find in this SBOM is the licenses. Sometimes in some of our companies, maybe we are not allowed to use specific licenses or specific product from specific countries or companies. So these information can help us to have governance and insight on what we are using. Huh? So we can generate SBOM. But what is the input for the SBOM? You can generate SBOM in different stages. So the source code is the best one because you have all the information. You can also scan the container images, or you can actually scan the, for example, jar file. Or you're in the cloud, for example, AWS, GCP, and those platforms. They have some sort of scanners that or sensors that they can also scan the dependencies that are loaded in the memory or the dependencies that are in the file system. They can do this for you. The good thing is, for the source code, there is a nice tool called dependency scan or DepScan. This is from OWASP. It's a really nice tool. Amazing. Many of the commercial platforms are actually using this one under the hood. And what it can do, it's just, you can see, run one command, scan my, I don't know if it's visible or not. It's only one command. Yes. You can see, it's just a command that you run, and it will give you a report in the CLI, but it can also give you the JSON format that you can use it later. You can actually put it in your pipeline, and you can put some rules on it that, OK, if I have a really dangerous library or with high severity vulnerability, please fail my pipeline. Return, I don't know, something, 1. This is the DepScan. Good news is, for the Java project, we can add this plugin to the Maven. And from a Spring Boot, I think 3.3, this is already included. So you can actually call an API from the actuator, and you can get the SBOM for free. So I'm not really a fan of the API one, because I think that the SBOM needs to be generated before the application is live. So you can use the Maven one. And I've put also some links in the read more from Thomas Vitale, really amazing guy. He actually really deep dive into this SBOM topic for the Java applications. You can watch his talk in the Devox UK. For the container scanning, there is a nice tool called Trivi. So there are many tools, like 20 tools that do the container scanning. 2 weeks ago, with some of my colleagues, we did a evaluation, compared all the most known tools for scanning the container images. And I can proudly say the Aqua Trivi, an open source one, free one, is providing the best result. Like, it can identify most of the dependencies and also most of the vulnerabilities. Again, one command, and you have the SBOM for free, and you can use it. As I said, there are a lot of tools for the container scanning. You will see here. So some of them are paid one, and they're really expensive. But most of these tools, they also have the free version, so you can use it in your project. Last but not least, advanced recommendations. So Nexus repository and JFrog, they also offer something nice called dependency firewall. Dependency firewall is that, OK, you have a proxy that you expect to, you request that, OK, I want log4j, and you specify the version. And the dependency firewall will actually enforce some policies on it that before you download it, it will prevent you to download, for example, vulnerable version. And that's really nice, because before you download it, you're already protected. It's better. It's really nice. But these solutions are a bit expensive. So, well, that's why I put it in advanced. So if your company has money, I think it's the best idea to use one of these tools. It will block it in real time. Signing artifacts, it's amazing if you can do it. So, for example, you can sign your jar files to make sure that the jar that is in the Nexus in your private repository has been signed by a real team, not by a hacker, right? So signing is really good, but actually implementing these for all the squads and all the teams, it's a bit cumbersome. The next one is signing the container image. It's a bit easier than signing jar file. So you can actually, in your pipeline, sign the container image, and you can actually enforce signed images on the, for example, Kubernetes cluster, that we will not allow any container to be deployed unless that we can verify that it has been signed by our certificate, for example. This is a really nice one. And last but not least, we already have SBOMs. Let's monitor it, because today we went live to production. We had 0 vulnerability, but Log4j has been discovered. So if we do continuous monitoring of those dependencies and the vulnerabilities that are discovered for those dependencies, you might spot some good stuff, and you can react really quickly. So I will also show you a few platforms for this SBOM monitoring. By the way, this SBOM monitoring for the financial institution and big companies is kind of mandatory now. So if you haven't heard about it from your company, for example, DORA, have you heard about DORA? OK, so DORA is for the financial institution. There is another European compliance thingy that is called CRA, Cyber Resilience Act, that sooner or later you will hear about it. And your company should keep and store the SBOM for all the projects for, I think, a few years. OK, we have the fortress. Let's take a look at the resilience, how it will be. I want to remind you the story of the Log4Shell again. So, who remembers the Log4Shell? It was all of us, right? So it was December. We were getting ready for going on vacation, on holiday, and it was a Friday afternoon that all the phones started ringing. There is a big hack on the Minecraft server. What is the relevance of the Minecraft server hack to my application? Oh, it was a vulnerability on the Log4j. Oh, we are all using Log4j. But which application is using this version? And who to contact? And oh, I don't know, how to fix it? And are we safe now? And those questions, you could hear them from multiple people. Excel files were sending from the security officer. You need to say, OK, I fixed the version. This is, for some companies, so I was working at Bo at the time. I think for Bo it took 2 days, 3 days to fix the old applications. For some other companies, it took a year. Some companies are still struggling, and some people are still downloading that version. So you understand what I'm talking about, right? But we already know, with SBOMs, we can store those documents in a MongoDB or in a platform, and we can actually just query that, OK, what are the applications that are using this version of this Log4j? It's just a query, right? And we already know this SBOM belongs to this team, this application. We have all this metadata. Well, when 0-day happens, we already have the answer of all these questions. So instead of sending Excel files and asking people to provide information and stress, we already have the insight. And by just refreshing these reports, we can see that if they're safe or not, right? Because we can generate the SBOM in the pipeline, and if the people fix that thing, the pipeline runs, we have new version of the SBOM, so we can have a real-time insight. Then we can be a little bit more prepared for next Log4j. There is a tool called Dependency Tracker from OWASP, free. It's amazing. It's also open source. It's amazing. If you have time, I can also show you the platform. This is a screenshot. So you create your organization there. It's really flexible. So you can have applications, sub-applications, if it's monorepo, all these things it supports. You just create the hierarchy of your application, and also you can specify who is the maintainer of this application, and just upload the SBOM there, and it will do the continuous monitoring for you. So when something like Log4j happens, it will automatically send the notification to the teams. And you can have like reports that, okay, how many vulnerabilities that we have. You can quickly, with APIs and also with the GUI that it has, you can just search. It's amazing, and it's free. And just running it, it's again one command because it's container-based. There are many other tools. The really fancy one, you can see, for example, Wiz, Sneak, Sonatype, Anchor. They're all nice. They have a different user experience. I don't know. Some of the companies, so for example, Wiz, Google bought it for 30 billion. So I've seen the demo, it's amazing. So it has a lot of features. Also the Sonatype one and the Sneak one, they're all good, right? But you should see that which one is more, related to your company, which one your company can buy, let's say like that, right? So, but this one, the dependency track is free. I like it, and it's really good. They always have update on it, and you can actually contribute to implementation of this. Okay, let's speed up. Am I prepared now for the new crisis? I already applied all those critical, essential, and advanced practices. Am I ready now? So, if you think the technology can solve your problem, you don't know the security, and you don't know the technology. Because this is what we see from Bruce. And he's like a father of the cryptographic and also security stuff. He's right. Because the tools is only one pillar in this topic. So there is a topic called DevSecOps, and don't worry, it's not a new hype or a new buzzword that you might say, oh, we had full-stack developers and DevOps engineers and really vague words that we still don't know what we're doing with these titles, and there's a new one, DevSecOps. No, it's not like that, honestly, at least what I understand it. So it actually talks about three pillars of the people and processes is one of them, tools is one of them, and the governance is also another pillar. So I showed you, I run Maven install. I'm a person, I run a Maven install. I didn't pay attention properly that what I was putting in my POM XML, and I got hacked, right? So it's very hard to say that tools can solve your problem. No, we need to be aware of it. I ask you, only 2 or 3 people actually tried path traversal. So path traversal is there for 25 years. Just give it a try to see how it is. And Brian, I think you know him. He's a really known guy in the security. He's having a lot of talks, and in his talks, he's showing path traversal every time. Still gifting. Try to learn about it. It's important. The security is not a luxury anymore. It's a necessary thing that we need to do. And the modern approach of the security is not like, let's buy a firewall or buy a web application firewall or do this or that. There are many steps that you can actually think about it, work on it, put efforts on it, and if you fix and prevent the issues faster, the cost that you need to put to mitigating those issues or rectifying those issues would be way less. So, who has fixed bugs or security issues in the production? We all felt the pressure and the stress, right? But if it's the vulnerability in the pull request, you'll say, okay, it's Friday, I will review it next week. Huh? But if it's Friday and you have an open door that will expose all the customer information, can you turn off your laptop? No. Business will not allow you to do that. Even if you don't want to do that, it's important, you need to fix it. So better to have some ideas how to prevent or mitigate those problems before it happens. So you can read about those things in the read more link that I put there. It's easy. It's really easy, and it's not hard thing to do. And some of them are really nice. Okay. So my story is done, and I was thinking that if I want to say only one thing to all of you as a main takeaway from all the things that I said now, you either die a hero or you live long to see yourself become the villain. So if you think I'm talking about the Harvey Dent, I think you need to rewatch this presentation one more time, because I'm talking about all those dependencies and the softwares and legacy that we're using in our application, and still 30% of the projects in the world are using Java 8. If you do not take care of them sooner, you will have a lot of issues later to fix them. And that's it. There is a time slot for the mentorship hub. If you have questions, if I can help you in something with the small knowledge that I have, I will be in the mentorship hub at 3:15 till 4:15. I will be happy to share my experiences and hear your stories as well. And that's it. I would appreciate if you share the feedback on the application with me. Thank you. Questions? Here we go. Yes? Yes? Okay, that's a good one. Do you want to see it again? You can. Depends. So you can configure your experience security to, for example, not exposing it to all the things. But I said I'm not really a fan of it. I prefer to have the SBOM before I go to production. But you can also disable it. Yeah, up to you. Do you want to see the dependency tracker? I have the demo. It's easy. So I'm not sure how much time do we have. Like, do we have how much minute? 3 or 4? Okay. So this is the dependency tracker. I'm not sure if it's visible or not. I will try to zoom a little bit. So nice modern dashboard. You can see the insight that, okay, I have 2 projects at risk, and this is the trend of the vulnerabilities and the risk that I have in my project. And I have 165 vulnerability in applications that I have. And I can actually see how many policy violations that I have. Because sometimes you want to accept some risk. You might say, OK, if the application is not internet-facing, I'm fine to having, for example, a severity 7 or not critical ones, right? You can define those policies, organization level, application level, sub-application. You have luxury to do those things. And it's a really fancy one. And if I click on the components, yeah, I added this as SBOM recently, so I'm not sure if it's going to show it, because it needs to do some scan. But I will go to project. For example, our project. You will see that I have 140 dependency in this project. And you will see that, well, a lot. I can search for a specific components here. I can get the report. I can also download the SBOM. I can also see the vulnerabilities that are there. You see that there are some high vulnerabilities that they have been identified on 5th of June, because I uploaded this SBOM like half an hour ago. And you can actually see the CVE ID here, so I can click on this one and see more information. What is this? So body parser is a Node.js body parsing middleware, so I don't know. So it's a Node.js one. But this dependency tracker is amazing. Just try to use it. It's free, and it's really offering a nice GUI. That's it. Any other questions? Good luck. Have a nice time at the JSpring.